Vehicle.
The vehicle is parked in the garage. The vehicle is parked in the garage. They're buying a new vehicle this year. They're buying a new vehicle this year. The vehicle needs regular maintenance. The vehicle needs regular maintenance.
Car.
She drives a red car to work every day. She drives a red car to work every day. The car has 4 doors and a spacious interior. The car has 4 doors and a spacious interior. They're looking for a reliable car to buy. They're looking for a reliable car to buy.
Automobile.
The automobile industry is constantly evolving. The automobile industry is constantly evolving. They're manufacturing electric automobiles. They're manufacturing electric automobiles. The automobile was invented in the late 19th century. The automobile was invented in the late 19th century.
Truck.
The delivery truck arrived early this morning. The delivery truck arrived early this morning. They're loading the truck with goods. They're loading the truck with goods. The truck can carry up to 5 tons. The truck can carry up to 5 tons.
Van.
They're using a van to move their furniture. They're using a van to move their furniture. The van has plenty of space for passengers. The van has plenty of space for passengers. They're renting a van for the weekend trip. They're renting a van for the weekend trip.
SUV.
The SUV is perfect for off-road driving. The SUV is perfect for off-road driving. They're buying a new SUV for their family. They're buying a new SUV for their family. The SUV has 4-wheel drive. The SUV has 4-wheel drive.
Motorcycle.
He rides his motorcycle to work every day. He rides his motorcycle to work every day. The motorcycle is faster than a car in traffic. The motorcycle is faster than a car in traffic. They're learning to ride a motorcycle. They're learning to ride a motorcycle.
Bike.
She rides her bike to school every morning. She rides her bike to school every morning. The bike has 21 gears for different terrains. The bike has 21 gears for different terrains. They're buying a new bike for exercise. They're buying a new bike for exercise.
Bicycle.
The bicycle is an eco-friendly mode of transportation. The bicycle is an eco-friendly mode of transportation. They're repairing the bicycle chain. They're repairing the bicycle chain. The bicycle lane is separated from traffic. The bicycle lane is separated from traffic.
Bus.
She takes the bus to work every day. She takes the bus to work every day. The bus stops at every corner. The bus stops at every corner. They're waiting for the bus at the station. They're waiting for the bus at the station.
Train.
The train arrives at 8:30 a.m. The train arrives at 8:30 a.m. They're taking the train to the city. They're taking the train to the city. The train travels at high speed. The train travels at high speed.
Subway.
She takes the subway to avoid traffic. She takes the subway to avoid traffic. The subway is the fastest way to get downtown. The subway is the fastest way to get downtown. They're riding the subway to the museum. They're riding the subway to the museum.
Taxi.
She called a taxi to go to the airport. She called a taxi to go to the airport. The taxi driver knows the city well. The taxi driver knows the city well. They're taking a taxi because it's raining. They're taking a taxi because it's raining.
Boat.
They're sailing the boat across the lake. They're sailing the boat across the lake. The boat can carry up to 10 people. The boat can carry up to 10 people. They're renting a boat for the weekend. They're renting a boat for the weekend.
Ship.
The ship is crossing the ocean. The ship is crossing the ocean. They're traveling on a cruise ship. They're traveling on a cruise ship. The ship carries cargo between ports. The ship carries cargo between ports.
Airplane.
The airplane is taking off in 10 minutes. The airplane is taking off in 10 minutes. They're boarding the airplane now. They're boarding the airplane now. The airplane flies at 30,000 feet. The airplane flies at 30,000 feet.
Plane.
She's flying on a plane to Paris. She's flying on a plane to Paris. The plane landed safely at the airport. The plane landed safely at the airport. They're waiting for their plane to arrive. They're waiting for their plane to arrive.
Helicopter.
The helicopter is hovering above the building. The helicopter is hovering above the building. They're using a helicopter for the rescue mission. They're using a helicopter for the rescue mission. The helicopter can land in small spaces. The helicopter can land in small spaces.
Wheel.
The car has 4 wheels. The car has 4 wheels. They're changing the flat wheel. They're changing the flat wheel. The wheel is made of aluminum. The wheel is made of aluminum.
Tire.
The tire is flat and needs to be replaced. The tire is flat and needs to be replaced. They're checking the tire pressure. They're checking the tire pressure. The tire has good tread for safety. The tire has good tread for safety.
Engine.
The car's engine is very powerful. The car's engine is very powerful. They're repairing the engine. They're repairing the engine. The engine needs regular oil changes. The engine needs regular oil changes.
Motor.
The motor is running smoothly. The motor is running smoothly. They're starting the motor. They're starting the motor. The motor has excellent fuel efficiency. The motor has excellent fuel efficiency.
Steering wheel.
She's holding the steering wheel firmly. She's holding the steering wheel firmly. The steering wheel has power steering. The steering wheel has power steering. They're adjusting the steering wheel position. They're adjusting the steering wheel position.
Brake.
She pressed the brake to stop the car. She pressed the brake to stop the car. The brakes need to be checked regularly. The brakes need to be checked regularly. They're replacing the worn brakes. They're replacing the worn brakes.
Accelerator.
She pressed the accelerator to speed up. She pressed the accelerator to speed up. The accelerator is very responsive. The accelerator is very responsive. They're checking the accelerator pedal. They're checking the accelerator pedal.
Gas pedal.
She stepped on the gas pedal. She stepped on the gas pedal. The gas pedal controls the speed. The gas pedal controls the speed. They're adjusting the gas pedal sensitivity. They're adjusting the gas pedal sensitivity.
Pedal.
She pressed the pedal to brake. She pressed the pedal to brake. The bike has 3 pedals for different speeds. The bike has 3 pedals for different speeds. They're replacing the worn pedals. They're replacing the worn pedals.
Door.
She opened the car door and got in. She opened the car door and got in. The door is locked from the inside. The door is locked from the inside. They're closing all the doors before driving. They're closing all the doors before driving.
Window.
She rolled down the window to get fresh air. She rolled down the window to get fresh air. The window is electric and opens automatically. The window is electric and opens automatically. They're cleaning the car windows. They're cleaning the car windows.
Windshield.
The windshield wipers are working well. The windshield wipers are working well. They're replacing the cracked windshield. They're replacing the cracked windshield. The windshield provides clear visibility. The windshield provides clear visibility.
Windshield wiper.
She turned on the windshield wipers in the rain. She turned on the windshield wipers in the rain. The windshield wipers need to be replaced. The windshield wipers need to be replaced. They're adjusting the windshield wiper speed. They're adjusting the windshield wiper speed.
Hood.
She opened the hood to check the engine. She opened the hood to check the engine. The hood is made of lightweight material. The hood is made of lightweight material. They're repairing the hood after the accident. They're repairing the hood after the accident.
Trunk.
She put the luggage in the trunk. She put the luggage in the trunk. The trunk has plenty of space for groceries. The trunk has plenty of space for groceries. They're loading the trunk with camping gear. They're loading the trunk with camping gear.
Seat.
She adjusted the driver's seat for comfort. She adjusted the driver's seat for comfort. The car has comfortable leather seats. The car has comfortable leather seats. They're installing new seats in the car. They're installing new seats in the car.
Seat belt.
She always fastens her seat belt before driving. She always fastens her seat belt before driving. The seat belt saved her life in the accident. The seat belt saved her life in the accident. They're checking that all seat belts work properly. They're checking that all seat belts work properly.
Headlight.
She turned on the headlights when it got dark. She turned on the headlights when it got dark. The headlights are very bright. The headlights are very bright. They're replacing the broken headlight. They're replacing the broken headlight.
Taillight.
The taillights are working properly. The taillights are working properly. They're checking the taillight bulbs. They're checking the taillight bulbs. The taillight helps other drivers see the car. The taillight helps other drivers see the car.
Mirror.
She checked the rearview mirror before changing lanes. She checked the rearview mirror before changing lanes. The side mirrors provide good visibility. The side mirrors provide good visibility. They're adjusting the mirrors for better view. They're adjusting the mirrors for better view.
Review mirror.
She looked in the rearview mirror to see behind. She looked in the rearview mirror to see behind. The rearview mirror is positioned correctly. The rearview mirror is positioned correctly. They're replacing the broken rearview mirror. They're replacing the broken rearview mirror.
Side mirror.
She checked the side mirror before turning. She checked the side mirror before turning. The side mirrors are electric and adjustable. The side mirrors are electric and adjustable. They're folding the side mirrors to park. They're folding the side mirrors to park.
Horn.
She honked the horn to warn the other driver. She honked the horn to warn the other driver. The horn is loud and clear. The horn is loud and clear. They're testing the horn to make sure it works. They're testing the horn to make sure it works.
Dashboard.
She checked the dashboard for the fuel gauge. She checked the dashboard for the fuel gauge. The dashboard shows all the important information. The dashboard shows all the important information. They're cleaning the dashboard. They're cleaning the dashboard.
Speedometer.
She checked the speedometer to see her speed. She checked the speedometer to see her speed. The speedometer shows kilometers per hour. The speedometer shows kilometers per hour. They're repairing the broken speedometer. They're repairing the broken speedometer.
Fuel gauge.
She checked the fuel gauge to see how much gas was left. She checked the fuel gauge to see how much gas was left. The fuel gauge shows the tank is almost empty. The fuel gauge shows the tank is almost empty. They're fixing the fuel gauge that's not working. They're fixing the fuel gauge that's not working.
Gas tank.
She filled the gas tank at the station. She filled the gas tank at the station. The gas tank holds 50 liters. The gas tank holds 50 liters. They're checking the gas tank for leaks. They're checking the gas tank for leaks.
Battery.
The car battery is dead and needs to be replaced. The car battery is dead and needs to be replaced. They're jump-starting the battery. They're jump-starting the battery. The battery provides power to start the engine. The battery provides power to start the engine.
Key.
She turned the key to start the car. She turned the key to start the car. The key is in the ignition. The key is in the ignition. They're looking for the car keys. They're looking for the car keys.
Ignition.
She turned the ignition to start the engine. She turned the ignition to start the engine. The ignition key is stuck. The ignition key is stuck. They're repairing the ignition system. They're repairing the ignition system.
License plate.
The license plate is clearly visible. The license plate is clearly visible. They're registering the new license plate. They're registering the new license plate. The license plate number is required for registration. The license plate number is required for registration.
To drive.
She drives to work every day. She drives to work every day. They drove across the country last summer. They drove across the country last summer. He's learning to drive a car. He's learning to drive a car.
To ride.
She rides her bike to school. She rides her bike to school. They rode the bus to the city center. They rode the bus to the city center. He's going to ride his motorcycle this weekend. He's going to ride his motorcycle this weekend.
To park.
She's looking for a place to park the car. She's looking for a place to park the car. They parked in the parking lot. They parked in the parking lot. He's going to park in front of the building. He's going to park in front of the building.
To start.
She started the car engine. She started the car engine. They started the motorcycle with the key. They started the motorcycle with the key. He's going to start the vehicle now. He's going to start the vehicle now.
To stop.
She stopped the car at the red light. She stopped the car at the red light. They stopped at the gas station. They stopped at the gas station. He's going to stop to pick up a friend. He's going to stop to pick up a friend.
To brake.
She had to brake suddenly to avoid an accident. She had to brake suddenly to avoid an accident. They braked gently at the stop sign. They braked gently at the stop sign. He's going to brake before the intersection. He's going to brake before the intersection.
To accelerate.
She accelerated to merge onto the highway. She accelerated to merge onto the highway. They accelerated quickly from the stoplight. They accelerated quickly from the stoplight. He's going to accelerate to pass the truck. He's going to accelerate to pass the truck.
To speed up.
She sped up to get through the yellow light. She sped up to get through the yellow light. They sped up on the highway. They sped up on the highway. He's going to speed up to catch up with traffic. He's going to speed up to catch up with traffic.
To slow down.
She slowed down when she saw the school zone. She slowed down when she saw the school zone. They slowed down for the sharp curve. They slowed down for the sharp curve. He's going to slow down before the intersection. He's going to slow down before the intersection.
To turn.
She turned left at the intersection. She turned left at the intersection. They turned right onto Main Street. They turned right onto Main Street. He's going to turn around at the next corner. He's going to turn around at the next corner.
To turn left.
She turned left at the traffic light. She turned left at the traffic light. They turned left onto the highway. They turned left onto the highway. He's going to turn left at the next street. He's going to turn left at the next street.
To turn right.
She turned right at the corner. She turned right at the corner. They turned right into the parking lot. They turned right into the parking lot. He's going to turn right at the stop sign. He's going to turn right at the stop sign.
To go straight.
She went straight through the intersection. She went straight through the intersection. They went straight for 2 blocks. They went straight for 2 blocks. He's going to go straight until he sees the sign. He's going to go straight until he sees the sign.
To reverse.
She had to reverse to get out of the parking space. She had to reverse to get out of the parking space. They reversed carefully out of the driveway. They reversed carefully out of the driveway. He's going to reverse into the parking spot. He's going to reverse into the parking spot.
To back up.
She had to back up to let the other car pass. She had to back up to let the other car pass. They backed up slowly in the narrow street. They backed up slowly in the narrow street. He's going to back up to park. He's going to back up to park.
To change lanes.
She changed lanes to pass the slow truck. She changed lanes to pass the slow truck. They changed lanes carefully after checking the mirrors. They changed lanes carefully after checking the mirrors. He's going to change lanes to exit the highway. He's going to change lanes to exit the highway.
To pass.
She passed the slow-moving vehicle. She passed the slow-moving vehicle. They passed on the left side. They passed on the left side. He's going to pass when it's safe. He's going to pass when it's safe.
To overtake.
She overtook the car in front of her. She overtook the car in front of her. They overtook on the highway. They overtook on the highway. He's going to overtake when the road is clear. He's going to overtake when the road is clear.
To merge.
She merged onto the highway smoothly. She merged onto the highway smoothly. They merged into traffic carefully. They merged into traffic carefully. He's going to merge at the next entrance. He's going to merge at the next entrance.
To yield.
She had to yield to oncoming traffic. She had to yield to oncoming traffic. They yielded at the yield sign. They yielded at the yield sign. He's going to yield to pedestrians at the crosswalk. He's going to yield to pedestrians at the crosswalk.
To signal.
She signaled before turning left. She signaled before turning left. They signaled to change lanes. They signaled to change lanes. He's going to signal before making any turn. He's going to signal before making any turn.
To honk.
She honked to warn the other driver. She honked to warn the other driver. They honked when the light turned green. They honked when the light turned green. He's going to honk if necessary. He's going to honk if necessary.
To fill up.
She filled up the gas tank at the station. She filled up the gas tank at the station. They filled up before the long trip. They filled up before the long trip. He's going to fill up on the way home. He's going to fill up on the way home.
To refuel.
She needs to refuel the car. She needs to refuel the car. They refueled at the gas station. They refueled at the gas station. He's going to refuel before the trip. He's going to refuel before the trip.
To get in.
She got in the car and started the engine. She got in the car and started the engine. They got in the taxi quickly. They got in the taxi quickly. He's going to get in and fasten his seat belt. He's going to get in and fasten his seat belt.
To get out.
She got out of the car and locked it. She got out of the car and locked it. They got out at their destination. They got out at their destination. He's going to get out and check the engine. He's going to get out and check the engine.
To get on.
She got on the bus at the next stop. She got on the bus at the next stop. They got on the train just in time. They got on the train just in time. He's going to get on the motorcycle. He's going to get on the motorcycle.
To get off.
She got off the bus at her stop. She got off the bus at her stop. They got off the train at the central station. They got off the train at the central station. He's going to get off at the next stop. He's going to get off at the next stop.
To board.
She's going to board the plane in 10 minutes. She's going to board the plane in 10 minutes. They boarded the ship for the cruise. They boarded the ship for the cruise. He's going to board the train now. He's going to board the train now.
To exit.
She's going to exit the highway at the next exit. She's going to exit the highway at the next exit. They exited the vehicle quickly. They exited the vehicle quickly. He's going to exit at the downtown stop. He's going to exit at the downtown stop.
To load.
She's going to load the luggage into the trunk. She's going to load the luggage into the trunk. They loaded the truck with boxes. They loaded the truck with boxes. He's going to load the car for the trip. He's going to load the car for the trip.
To unload.
She's going to unload the groceries from the car. She's going to unload the groceries from the car. They unloaded the truck at the warehouse. They unloaded the truck at the warehouse. He's going to unload the luggage when they arrive. He's going to unload the luggage when they arrive.
To open.
She opened the car door. She opened the car door. They opened the windows for fresh air. They opened the windows for fresh air. He's going to open the trunk to get the bags. He's going to open the trunk to get the bags.
To close.
She closed the car door and locked it. She closed the car door and locked it. They closed all the windows before leaving. They closed all the windows before leaving. He's going to close the hood after checking the engine. He's going to close the hood after checking the engine.
To lock.
She locked the car before going into the store. She locked the car before going into the store. They locked all the doors. They locked all the doors. He's going to lock the vehicle securely. He's going to lock the vehicle securely.
To unlock.
She unlocked the car with the remote. She unlocked the car with the remote. They unlocked the doors before getting in. They unlocked the doors before getting in. He's going to unlock the vehicle now. He's going to unlock the vehicle now.
To check.
She checked the oil level before the trip. She checked the oil level before the trip. They checked the tire pressure. They checked the tire pressure. He's going to check the engine before driving. He's going to check the engine before driving.
To repair.
She's going to repair the broken headlight. She's going to repair the broken headlight. They repaired the engine at the garage. They repaired the engine at the garage. He's going to repair the flat tire. He's going to repair the flat tire.
To fix.
She needs to fix the broken mirror. She needs to fix the broken mirror. They fixed the problem with the brakes. They fixed the problem with the brakes. He's going to fix the windshield wiper. He's going to fix the windshield wiper.
To maintain.
She maintains her car regularly. She maintains her car regularly. They maintain the vehicle according to the schedule. They maintain the vehicle according to the schedule. He's going to maintain the motorcycle properly. He's going to maintain the motorcycle properly.
To service.
She's going to service the car next week. She's going to service the car next week. They serviced the vehicle at the dealership. They serviced the vehicle at the dealership. He's going to service the engine regularly. He's going to service the engine regularly.
To buy.
She's going to buy a new car this year. She's going to buy a new car this year. They bought a used vehicle. They bought a used vehicle. He's going to buy a motorcycle. He's going to buy a motorcycle.
To sell.
She's going to sell her old car. She's going to sell her old car. They sold the truck to a friend. They sold the truck to a friend. He's going to sell the motorcycle next month. He's going to sell the motorcycle next month.
To rent.
She's going to rent a car for the weekend. She's going to rent a car for the weekend. They rented a van for the move. They rented a van for the move. He's going to rent a motorcycle for the trip. He's going to rent a motorcycle for the trip.
To own.
She owns 2 cars. She owns 2 cars. They own a motorcycle and a bicycle. They own a motorcycle and a bicycle. He's going to own a new vehicle soon. He's going to own a new vehicle soon.
To register.
She needs to register the new car. She needs to register the new car. They registered the vehicle at the DMV. They registered the vehicle at the DMV. He's going to register the motorcycle this week. He's going to register the motorcycle this week.
To insure.
She needs to insure her new car. She needs to insure her new car. They insured the vehicle with a good company. They insured the vehicle with a good company. He's going to insure the motorcycle. He's going to insure the motorcycle.
Driver.
She's an experienced driver. She's an experienced driver. The driver stopped at the red light. The driver stopped at the red light. They're looking for a driver for the delivery truck. They're looking for a driver for the delivery truck.
Passenger.
She's a passenger in the car. She's a passenger in the car. The passengers fastened their seat belts. The passengers fastened their seat belts. They're picking up passengers at the station. They're picking up passengers at the station.
Driver's license.
She has a valid driver's license. She has a valid driver's license. They're renewing their driver's license. They're renewing their driver's license. He's going to get his driver's license next month. He's going to get his driver's license next month.
Traffic.
There's heavy traffic on the highway. There's heavy traffic on the highway. They got stuck in traffic this morning. They got stuck in traffic this morning. The traffic is moving slowly. The traffic is moving slowly.
Traffic jam.
They're stuck in a traffic jam. They're stuck in a traffic jam. The traffic jam lasted for an hour. The traffic jam lasted for an hour. He's trying to avoid the traffic jam. He's trying to avoid the traffic jam.
Traffic light.
She stopped at the red traffic light. She stopped at the red traffic light. The traffic light turned green. The traffic light turned green. They're waiting for the traffic light to change. They're waiting for the traffic light to change.
Stop sign.
She stopped at the stop sign. She stopped at the stop sign. The stop sign is clearly visible. The stop sign is clearly visible. They're approaching the stop sign. They're approaching the stop sign.
Yield sign.
She yielded at the yield sign. She yielded at the yield sign. The yield sign indicates you must give way. The yield sign indicates you must give way. They're stopping at the yield sign. They're stopping at the yield sign.
Speed limit.
The speed limit is 60 km per hour. The speed limit is 60 km per hour. They're driving within the speed limit. They're driving within the speed limit. He's going to respect the speed limit. He's going to respect the speed limit.
Parking lot.
She parked in the parking lot. She parked in the parking lot. The parking lot is full. The parking lot is full. They're looking for a space in the parking lot. They're looking for a space in the parking lot.
Parking space.
She found a parking space near the entrance. She found a parking space near the entrance. The parking space is too small for the truck. The parking space is too small for the truck. They're looking for a parking space. They're looking for a parking space.
Gas station.
She stopped at the gas station to fill up. She stopped at the gas station to fill up. The gas station is open 24 hours. The gas station is open 24 hours. They're going to the gas station before the trip. They're going to the gas station before the trip.
Garage.
She parks her car in the garage. She parks her car in the garage. They're taking the car to the garage for repairs. They're taking the car to the garage for repairs. The garage is full of tools. The garage is full of tools.
Mechanic.
The mechanic is repairing the engine. The mechanic is repairing the engine. They took the car to the mechanic. They took the car to the mechanic. He's a skilled mechanic. He's a skilled mechanic.
Road.
The road is very smooth. The road is very smooth. They're driving on a winding road. They're driving on a winding road. The road is under construction. The road is under construction.
Street.
She lives on Main Street. She lives on Main Street. The street is very busy during rush hour. The street is very busy during rush hour. They're crossing the street at the crosswalk. They're crossing the street at the crosswalk.
Highway.
She's driving on the highway. She's driving on the highway. The highway has 3 lanes in each direction. The highway has 3 lanes in each direction. They're merging onto the highway. They're merging onto the highway.
Bridge.
She's crossing the bridge over the river. She's crossing the bridge over the river. The bridge is very long. The bridge is very long. They're driving across the bridge. They're driving across the bridge.
Tunnel.
She's driving through the tunnel. She's driving through the tunnel. The tunnel is well lit. The tunnel is well lit. They're going through the tunnel to reach the city. They're going through the tunnel to reach the city.
Intersection.
She stopped at the intersection. She stopped at the intersection. The intersection has traffic lights. The intersection has traffic lights. They're turning left at the intersection. They're turning left at the intersection.
Crosswalk.
She stopped at the crosswalk for pedestrians. She stopped at the crosswalk for pedestrians. The crosswalk is clearly marked. The crosswalk is clearly marked. They're waiting at the crosswalk for the light. They're waiting at the crosswalk for the light.
Lane.
She's driving in the right lane. She's driving in the right lane. The highway has 4 lanes. The highway has 4 lanes. They're changing lanes to pass. They're changing lanes to pass.
Shoulder.
She pulled over to the shoulder of the road. She pulled over to the shoulder of the road. The shoulder is for emergencies only. The shoulder is for emergencies only. They're stopping on the shoulder to check the tire. They're stopping on the shoulder to check the tire.
Curb.
She parked close to the curb. She parked close to the curb. The curb is painted yellow. The curb is painted yellow. They're parallel parking next to the curb. They're parallel parking next to the curb.
Sidewalk.
The pedestrians are walking on the sidewalk. The pedestrians are walking on the sidewalk. The sidewalk is wide enough for 2 people. The sidewalk is wide enough for 2 people. They're crossing from the sidewalk to the street. They're crossing from the sidewalk to the street.
Accident.
There was a car accident on the highway. There was a car accident on the highway. The accident caused a traffic jam. The accident caused a traffic jam. They witnessed the accident and called for help. They witnessed the accident and called for help.
Crash.
She was involved in a crash last month. She was involved in a crash last month. The crash damaged both vehicles. The crash damaged both vehicles. They avoided a crash by braking quickly. They avoided a crash by braking quickly.
Collision.
The collision happened at the intersection. The collision happened at the intersection. They were in a collision with another car. They were in a collision with another car. The collision was caused by running a red light. The collision was caused by running a red light.
Breakdown.
She had a breakdown on the highway. She had a breakdown on the highway. The breakdown was caused by engine failure. The breakdown was caused by engine failure. They're waiting for help after the breakdown. They're waiting for help after the breakdown.
Flat tire.
She has a flat tire and needs to change it. She has a flat tire and needs to change it. The flat tire happened on the way to work. The flat tire happened on the way to work. They're fixing the flat tire on the side of the road. They're fixing the flat tire on the side of the road.
To run out of gas.
She ran out of gas on the highway. She ran out of gas on the highway. They ran out of gas because they forgot to fill up. They ran out of gas because they forgot to fill up. He's going to run out of gas if he doesn't stop soon. He's going to run out of gas if he doesn't stop soon.
To break down.
The car broke down on the way home. The car broke down on the way home. They broke down in the middle of nowhere. They broke down in the middle of nowhere. He's worried the car will break down again. He's worried the car will break down again.
To crash.
She crashed into the guardrail. She crashed into the guardrail. They crashed into another vehicle. They crashed into another vehicle. He's going to be careful not to crash. He's going to be careful not to crash.
To hit.
She hit a tree while parking. She hit a tree while parking. They hit another car from behind. They hit another car from behind. He's going to be careful not to hit anything. He's going to be careful not to hit anything.
To collide.
The two cars collided at the intersection. The two cars collided at the intersection. They collided head-on. They collided head-on. He's trying to avoid colliding with other vehicles. He's trying to avoid colliding with other vehicles.
To avoid.
She avoided the accident by braking quickly. She avoided the accident by braking quickly. They avoided hitting the pedestrian. They avoided hitting the pedestrian. He's going to avoid the busy street. He's going to avoid the busy street.
To swerve.
She swerved to avoid the pothole. She swerved to avoid the pothole. They swerved to miss the oncoming car. They swerved to miss the oncoming car. He had to swerve suddenly to avoid the collision. He had to swerve suddenly to avoid the collision.
To skid.
The car skidded on the wet road. The car skidded on the wet road. They skidded and almost hit the guardrail. They skidded and almost hit the guardrail. He's going to be careful not to skid on ice. He's going to be careful not to skid on ice.
To spin.
The car spun out of control on the ice. The car spun out of control on the ice. They spun around after hitting the curb. They spun around after hitting the curb. He's trying to control the car when it spins. He's trying to control the car when it spins.
To roll over.
The car rolled over after the crash. The car rolled over after the crash. They were lucky the vehicle didn't roll over. They were lucky the vehicle didn't roll over. He's worried the truck might roll over on the curve. He's worried the truck might roll over on the curve.
To stall.
The car stalled at the traffic light. The car stalled at the traffic light. They stalled the engine by releasing the clutch too quickly. They stalled the engine by releasing the clutch too quickly. He's going to restart the car after it stalled. He's going to restart the car after it stalled.
To run over.
She almost ran over a pedestrian. She almost ran over a pedestrian. They ran over a pothole and damaged the tire. They ran over a pothole and damaged the tire. He's going to be careful not to run over anything. He's going to be careful not to run over anything.
To cut off.
Another driver cut her off on the highway. Another driver cut her off on the highway. They were cut off by a truck. They were cut off by a truck. He's going to be careful not to cut off other drivers. He's going to be careful not to cut off other drivers.
To tailgate.
The driver behind her is tailgating. The driver behind her is tailgating. They don't like when people tailgate them. They don't like when people tailgate them. He's going to slow down if someone tailgates him. He's going to slow down if someone tailgates him.
To run a red light.
She was fined for running a red light. She was fined for running a red light. They ran a red light and caused an accident. They ran a red light and caused an accident. He's going to be careful not to run a red light. He's going to be careful not to run a red light.
To speed.
She was caught speeding on the highway. She was caught speeding on the highway. They were speeding and got a ticket. They were speeding and got a ticket. He's going to avoid speeding to stay safe. He's going to avoid speeding to stay safe.
To get a ticket.
She got a ticket for parking illegally. She got a ticket for parking illegally. They got a ticket for speeding. They got a ticket for speeding. He's going to be careful not to get a ticket. He's going to be careful not to get a ticket.
Fine.
She had to pay a fine for the traffic violation. She had to pay a fine for the traffic violation. The fine was $100 for speeding. The fine was $100 for speeding. They're going to pay the fine online. They're going to pay the fine online.
Ticket.
She received a parking ticket. She received a parking ticket. The ticket was for running a red light. The ticket was for running a red light. They're contesting the ticket in court. They're contesting the ticket in court.
Bonus examples.
She received a parking ticket. She received a parking ticket. The ticket was for running a red light. The ticket was for running a red light. They're contesting the ticket in court. They're contesting the ticket in court. She's going to go to the store by car. She's going to go to the store by car. They went to the beach in their van. They went to the beach in their van. He's going to go to work on his bike. He's going to go to work on his bike. She's going to come by bus. She's going to come by bus. They came to the party in a taxi. They came to the party in a taxi. He's going to come on his motorcycle. He's going to come on his motorcycle. She's going to travel by train. She's going to travel by train. They traveled across the country by car. They traveled across the country by car. He's going to travel by plane to Europe. He's going to travel by plane to Europe. The car is moving slowly in traffic. The car is moving slowly in traffic. They moved the vehicle to a different spot. They moved the vehicle to a different spot. He's going to move the car forward. He's going to move the car forward. She uses her car every day. She uses her car every day. They used public transportation to get there. They used public transportation to get there. He's going to use the bike for exercise. He's going to use the bike for exercise. She needs to fill up the gas tank. She needs to fill up the gas tank. They need to repair the brakes. They need to repair the brakes. He needs a new tire. He needs a new tire. She wants to buy a new car. She wants to buy a new car. They want to rent a van for the move. They want to rent a van for the move. He wants to learn how to drive. He wants to learn how to drive. She has a reliable car. She has a reliable car. They have two vehicles. They have two vehicles. He has a driver's license. He has a driver's license. She's going to get her driver's license. She's going to get her driver's license. They got a new car last month. They got a new car last month. He's going to get the car serviced. He's going to get the car serviced. She's going to take the bus to work. She's going to take the bus to work. They took the train to the city. They took the train to the city. He's going to take his car to the mechanic. He's going to take his car to the mechanic. She's going to bring her car to the garage. She's going to bring her car to the garage. They brought the vehicle for inspection. They brought the vehicle for inspection. He's going to bring the bike to be repaired. He's going to bring the bike to be repaired. The truck can carry heavy loads. The truck can carry heavy loads. They carried all their luggage in the car. They carried all their luggage in the car. He's going to carry the groceries in the trunk. He's going to carry the groceries in the trunk. The ship transports cargo between ports. The ship transports cargo between ports. They transported the goods by truck. They transported the goods by truck. He's going to transport the furniture in a van. He's going to transport the furniture in a van. She can see the traffic ahead. She can see the traffic ahead. They saw an accident on the highway. They saw an accident on the highway. He's going to see the mechanic about the problem. He's going to see the mechanic about the problem. She's going to look for a parking space. She's going to look for a parking space. They looked at different cars before buying. They looked at different cars before buying. He's going to look at the engine. He's going to look at the engine. She's watching the traffic carefully. She's watching the traffic carefully. They watched the cars go by. They watched the cars go by. He's going to watch for pedestrians. He's going to watch for pedestrians. She noticed the car was making a strange noise. She noticed the car was making a strange noise. They noticed the traffic light was broken. They noticed the traffic light was broken. He's going to notice if something is wrong. He's going to notice if something is wrong. She's going to find a parking space. She's going to find a parking space. They found a good mechanic. They found a good mechanic. He's going to find the problem with the engine. He's going to find the problem with the engine. She's looking for a new car. She's looking for a new car. They looked for a parking space for 20 minutes. They looked for a parking space for 20 minutes. He's going to look for a gas station. He's going to look for a gas station. She's searching for a reliable vehicle. She's searching for a reliable vehicle. They searched online for car prices. They searched online for car prices. He's going to search for the best deal. He's going to search for the best deal. She needs to choose a car model. She needs to choose a car model. They chose the red car over the blue one. They chose the red car over the blue one. He's going to choose the best option. He's going to choose the best option. She decided to buy a used car. She decided to buy a used car. They decided to take the highway instead of the city streets. They decided to take the highway instead of the city streets. He's going to decide which route to take. He's going to decide which route to take. She's thinking about buying a new car. She's thinking about buying a new car. They thought the car was in good condition. They thought the car was in good condition. He's going to think about the best route. He's going to think about the best route. She knows how to drive. She knows how to drive. They know the way to the airport. They know the way to the airport. He knows a good mechanic. He knows a good mechanic. She understands the traffic rules. She understands the traffic rules. They understood the mechanic's explanation. They understood the mechanic's explanation. He's going to understand how the engine works. He's going to understand how the engine works. She's learning to drive. She's learning to drive. They learned how to change a tire. They learned how to change a tire. He's going to learn about car maintenance. He's going to learn about car maintenance. He's going to teach her how to drive. He's going to teach her how to drive. They taught him how to park properly. They taught him how to park properly. She's going to teach them about car safety. She's going to teach them about car safety. She needs to remember to check the oil. She needs to remember to check the oil. They remembered to fasten their seat belts. They remembered to fasten their seat belts. He's going to remember the route next time. He's going to remember the route next time. She forgot to lock the car. She forgot to lock the car. They forgot to fill up the gas tank. They forgot to fill up the gas tank. He's going to forget where he parked. He's going to forget where he parked. She's planning a road trip. She's planning a road trip. They planned the route carefully. They planned the route carefully. He's going to plan the journey in advance. He's going to plan the journey in advance. She's preparing the car for the long trip. She's preparing the car for the long trip. They prepared everything before leaving. They prepared everything before leaving. He's going to prepare the vehicle for winter. He's going to prepare the vehicle for winter. She's waiting for the traffic light to change. She's waiting for the traffic light to change. They waited for the bus for 30 minutes. They waited for the bus for 30 minutes. He's going to wait for a parking space. He's going to wait for a parking space. She's going to stay in the right lane. She's going to stay in the right lane. They stayed behind the slow truck. They stayed behind the slow truck. He's going to stay at the speed limit. He's going to stay at the speed limit. She needs to keep the car in good condition. She needs to keep the car in good condition. They kept their distance from other vehicles. They kept their distance from other vehicles. He's going to keep the speed steady. He's going to keep the speed steady. She's holding the steering wheel firmly. She's holding the steering wheel firmly. They held their position in traffic. They held their position in traffic. He's going to hold the brake pedal. He's going to hold the brake pedal. She's trying to keep up with traffic. She's trying to keep up with traffic. They kept up with the car in front. They kept up with the car in front. He's going to keep up the speed. He's going to keep up the speed. She's trying to catch up with the other cars. She's trying to catch up with the other cars. They caught up to the traffic ahead. They caught up to the traffic ahead. He's going to catch up after the red light. He's going to catch up after the red light. She's following the car in front. She's following the car in front. They followed the GPS directions. They followed the GPS directions. He's going to follow the traffic rules. He's going to follow the traffic rules. The car is leading the way. The car is leading the way. They led the convoy through the city. They led the convoy through the city. He's going to lead them to the destination. He's going to lead them to the destination. The GPS will guide her to the destination. The GPS will guide her to the destination. They guided the truck through narrow streets. They guided the truck through narrow streets. He's going to guide them to the parking lot. He's going to guide them to the parking lot. The signs direct drivers to the exit. The signs direct drivers to the exit. They directed traffic at the intersection. They directed traffic at the intersection. He's going to direct them to the right lane. He's going to direct them to the right lane. The map will show her the route. The map will show her the route. They showed him how to change a tire. They showed him how to change a tire. He's going to show her the way. He's going to show her the way. The sign indicates the speed limit. The sign indicates the speed limit. They indicated before turning. They indicated before turning. He's going to indicate with the turn signal. He's going to indicate with the turn signal. She pointed to the parking space. She pointed to the parking space. They pointed in the direction of the gas station. They pointed in the direction of the gas station. He's going to point out the problem. He's going to point out the problem. She's going to tell him the directions. She's going to tell him the directions. They told her about the traffic jam. They told her about the traffic jam. He's going to tell them where to park. He's going to tell them where to park. She said the car needs repairs. She said the car needs repairs. They said the traffic is heavy. They said the traffic is heavy. He's going to say when to turn. He's going to say when to turn. She's going to speak with the mechanic. She's going to speak with the mechanic. They spoke about the car's condition. They spoke about the car's condition. He's going to speak to the insurance company. He's going to speak to the insurance company. She's talking to the car dealer. She's talking to the car dealer. They talked about buying a new vehicle. They talked about buying a new vehicle. He's going to talk about the maintenance schedule. He's going to talk about the maintenance schedule. She's going to ask about the car's history. She's going to ask about the car's history. They asked for directions to the garage. They asked for directions to the garage. He's going to ask the mechanic about the problem. He's going to ask the mechanic about the problem. The mechanic will answer her questions. The mechanic will answer her questions. They answered all the questions about the car. They answered all the questions about the car. He's going to answer when asked about the vehicle. He's going to answer when asked about the vehicle. She's going to call a tow truck. She's going to call a tow truck. They called the mechanic for help. They called the mechanic for help. He's going to call the insurance company. He's going to call the insurance company. She's going to phone the garage. She's going to phone the garage. They phoned to make an appointment. They phoned to make an appointment. He's going to phone for roadside assistance. He's going to phone for roadside assistance. She's going to contact the car dealer. She's going to contact the car dealer. They contacted the insurance company. They contacted the insurance company. He's going to contact a mechanic. He's going to contact a mechanic. The mechanic will help her fix the car. The mechanic will help her fix the car. They helped him change the tire. They helped him change the tire. He's going to help her learn to drive. He's going to help her learn to drive. The roadside service will assist her. The roadside service will assist her. They assisted with the breakdown. They assisted with the breakdown. He's going to assist with the repairs. He's going to assist with the repairs. The jack will support the car. The jack will support the car. They supported the vehicle while changing the tire. They supported the vehicle while changing the tire. He's going to support the car with blocks. He's going to support the car with blocks. She's going to lift the hood. She's going to lift the hood. They lifted the car with a jack. They lifted the car with a jack. He's going to lift the heavy box into the trunk. He's going to lift the heavy box into the trunk. She's going to raise the car to change the tire. She's going to raise the car to change the tire. They raised the vehicle with a hydraulic lift. They raised the vehicle with a hydraulic lift. He's going to raise the window. He's going to raise the window. She's going to lower the window. She's going to lower the window. They lowered the car after the repair. They lowered the car after the repair. He's going to lower the speed. He's going to lower the speed. She's going to put the luggage in the trunk. She's going to put the luggage in the trunk. They put the groceries in the back seat. They put the groceries in the back seat. He's going to put gas in the tank. He's going to put gas in the tank. She's going to place the key in the ignition. She's going to place the key in the ignition. They placed the tools in the garage. They placed the tools in the garage. He's going to place the car in the parking space. He's going to place the car in the parking space. She's going to set the GPS destination. She's going to set the GPS destination. They set the cruise control. They set the cruise control. He's going to set the parking brake. He's going to set the parking brake. She's going to turn on the headlights. She's going to turn on the headlights. They turned on the air conditioning. They turned on the air conditioning. He's going to turn on the radio. He's going to turn on the radio. She's going to turn off the engine. She's going to turn off the engine. They turned off the lights when parking. They turned off the lights when parking. He's going to turn off the car. He's going to turn off the car. She's going to switch on the windshield wipers. She's going to switch on the windshield wipers. They switched on the hazard lights. They switched on the hazard lights. He's going to switch on the heating. He's going to switch on the heating. She's going to switch off the engine. She's going to switch off the engine. They switched off all the lights. They switched off all the lights. He's going to switch off the radio. He's going to switch off the radio. The engine is working properly. The engine is working properly. They worked on the car all day. They worked on the car all day. He's going to make sure everything works. He's going to make sure everything works. The brakes are functioning well. The brakes are functioning well. They checked that all systems functioned properly. They checked that all systems functioned properly. He's going to test if everything functions. He's going to test if everything functions. She knows how to operate the vehicle. She knows how to operate the vehicle. They operated the machinery carefully. They operated the machinery carefully. He's going to operate the car safely. He's going to operate the car safely. She's controlling the steering wheel. She's controlling the steering wheel. They controlled the speed carefully. They controlled the speed carefully. He's going to control the vehicle in difficult conditions. He's going to control the vehicle in difficult conditions. She's managing to drive in heavy traffic. She's managing to drive in heavy traffic. They managed to find a parking space. They managed to find a parking space. He's going to manage the long journey. He's going to manage the long journey. She handles the car well in the rain. She handles the car well in the rain. They handled the emergency situation calmly. They handled the emergency situation calmly. He's going to handle the difficult turn. He's going to handle the difficult turn. She's dealing with heavy traffic. She's dealing with heavy traffic. They dealt with the breakdown efficiently. They dealt with the breakdown efficiently. He's going to deal with the problem. He's going to deal with the problem. The mechanic will solve the problem. The mechanic will solve the problem. They solved the issue with the engine. They solved the issue with the engine. He's going to solve the mystery of the strange noise. He's going to solve the mystery of the strange noise. She needs to fix the broken headlight. She needs to fix the broken headlight. They fixed the problem quickly. They fixed the problem quickly. He's going to fix the flat tire. He's going to fix the flat tire. She's going to repair the damaged bumper. She's going to repair the damaged bumper. They repaired the engine at the garage. They repaired the engine at the garage. He's going to repair the windshield. He's going to repair the windshield. She needs to replace the old battery. She needs to replace the old battery. They replaced the worn tires. They replaced the worn tires. He's going to replace the broken mirror. He's going to replace the broken mirror. She's going to change the oil. She's going to change the oil. They changed the flat tire. They changed the flat tire. He's going to change the brake pads. He's going to change the brake pads. She maintains her car regularly. She maintains her car regularly. They maintained the vehicle properly. They maintained the vehicle properly. He's going to maintain the motorcycle well. He's going to maintain the motorcycle well. She cares for her car like a baby. She cares for her car like a baby. They cared for the vehicle meticulously. They cared for the vehicle meticulously. He's going to care for his new bike. He's going to care for his new bike. She takes care of her car's maintenance. She takes care of her car's maintenance. They took care of all the repairs. They took care of all the repairs. He's going to take care of the vehicle. He's going to take care of the vehicle. She's going to clean the car this weekend. She's going to clean the car this weekend. They cleaned the interior thoroughly. They cleaned the interior thoroughly. He's going to clean the windows. He's going to clean the windows. She's going to wash the car. She's going to wash the car. They washed the vehicle at the car wash. They washed the vehicle at the car wash. He's going to wash the motorcycle. He's going to wash the motorcycle. She's going to polish the car. She's going to polish the car. They polished the vehicle to a shine. They polished the vehicle to a shine. He's going to polish the chrome parts. He's going to polish the chrome parts. She's going to vacuum the car interior. She's going to vacuum the car interior. They vacuumed the seats and floor. They vacuumed the seats and floor. He's going to vacuum before the trip. He's going to vacuum before the trip. She's going to fuel the car. She's going to fuel the car. They fueled up before the long journey. They fueled up before the long journey. He's going to fuel the vehicle regularly. He's going to fuel the vehicle regularly. She's going to charge the electric car. She's going to charge the electric car. They charged the battery overnight. They charged the battery overnight. He's going to charge at the charging station. He's going to charge at the charging station. She's going to pay for the gas. She's going to pay for the gas. They paid for the repairs with cash. They paid for the repairs with cash. He's going to pay the parking fee. He's going to pay the parking fee. The repair will cost $500. The repair will cost $500. The car cost them a lot of money. The car cost them a lot of money. He's going to find out how much it will cost. He's going to find out how much it will cost. She spends a lot on gas. She spends a lot on gas. They spent $2,000 on car repairs. They spent $2,000 on car repairs. He's going to spend money on maintenance. He's going to spend money on maintenance. She's saving money to buy a new car. She's saving money to buy a new car. They saved by doing the repairs themselves. They saved by doing the repairs themselves. He's going to save for a down payment. He's going to save for a down payment. She can't afford a new car right now. She can't afford a new car right now. They afforded the expensive repairs. They afforded the expensive repairs. He's going to see if he can afford it. He's going to see if he can afford it. She owns 2 cars. She owns 2 cars. They owned the vehicle for 5 years. They owned the vehicle for 5 years. He's going to own a motorcycle soon. He's going to own a motorcycle soon. The car belongs to her. The car belongs to her. The vehicle belonged to their family. The vehicle belonged to their family. He's going to find out who it belongs to. He's going to find out who it belongs to. She's going to buy a new car. She's going to buy a new car. They bought a used vehicle. They bought a used vehicle. He's going to buy a motorcycle. He's going to buy a motorcycle. She's going to purchase a reliable car. She's going to purchase a reliable car. They purchased the vehicle from a dealer. They purchased the vehicle from a dealer. He's going to purchase insurance. He's going to purchase insurance. She's going to sell her old car. She's going to sell her old car. They sold the truck to a friend. They sold the truck to a friend. He's going to sell the motorcycle. He's going to sell the motorcycle. She's going to rent a car for the weekend. She's going to rent a car for the weekend. They rented a van for the move. They rented a van for the move. He's going to rent a motorcycle. He's going to rent a motorcycle. She's going to lease a car for 3 years. She's going to lease a car for 3 years. They leased the vehicle instead of buying. They leased the vehicle instead of buying. He's going to lease a new model. He's going to lease a new model. She's going to borrow her friend's car. She's going to borrow her friend's car. They borrowed a truck for the day. They borrowed a truck for the day. He's going to borrow the bike. He's going to borrow the bike. She's going to lend her car to her sister. She's going to lend her car to her sister. They lent the vehicle to a friend. They lent the vehicle to a friend. He's going to lend his motorcycle. He's going to lend his motorcycle. She's going to share the car with her roommate. She's going to share the car with her roommate. They shared the vehicle costs. They shared the vehicle costs. He's going to share a ride. He's going to share a ride. She's going to return the rental car. She's going to return the rental car. They returned the vehicle to the owner. They returned the vehicle to the owner. He's going to return the borrowed bike. He's going to return the borrowed bike. She's going to give back the car keys. She's going to give back the car keys. They gave back the vehicle after using it. They gave back the vehicle after using it. He's going to give back what he borrowed. He's going to give back what he borrowed. She's going to keep the car for another year. She's going to keep the car for another year. They kept the vehicle in good condition. They kept the vehicle in good condition. He's going to keep the motorcycle. He's going to keep the motorcycle. She's going to store the car in the garage. She's going to store the car in the garage. They stored the vehicle for the winter. They stored the vehicle for the winter. He's going to store the bike in the shed. He's going to store the bike in the shed. She's going to park the car in the lot. She's going to park the car in the lot. They parked in front of the building. They parked in front of the building. He's going to park the motorcycle. He's going to park the motorcycle. She's going to leave the car at home. She's going to leave the car at home. They left the vehicle in the parking lot. They left the vehicle in the parking lot. He's going to leave early to avoid traffic. He's going to leave early to avoid traffic. She's going to arrive by car. She's going to arrive by car. They arrived at the destination on time. They arrived at the destination on time. He's going to arrive by motorcycle. He's going to arrive by motorcycle. She's going to reach the destination soon. She's going to reach the destination soon. They reached the city after a long drive. They reached the city after a long drive. He's going to reach the speed limit. He's going to reach the speed limit. She's going to get to the store by car. She's going to get to the store by car. They got to the airport on time. They got to the airport on time. He's going to get to work by bike. He's going to get to work by bike. She's going to make it to the meeting on time. She's going to make it to the meeting on time. They made it to the destination despite the traffic. They made it to the destination despite the traffic. He's going to make it before closing time. He's going to make it before closing time. She's going to cross the bridge. She's going to cross the bridge. They crossed the intersection carefully. They crossed the intersection carefully. He's going to cross the street at the crosswalk. He's going to cross the street at the crosswalk. She's going to pass through the tunnel. She's going to pass through the tunnel. They passed through several towns. They passed through several towns. He's going to pass through the city center. He's going to pass through the city center. She's going to go around the traffic jam. She's going to go around the traffic jam. They went around the construction site. They went around the construction site. He's going to go around the block. He's going to go around the block. She's going to go past the gas station. She's going to go past the gas station. They went past the school. They went past the school. He's going to go past the intersection. He's going to go past the intersection. She's going to go by the store. She's going to go by the store. They went by the park on their way. They went by the park on their way. He's going to go by the mechanic's shop. He's going to go by the mechanic's shop. She's going to head towards the city. She's going to head towards the city. They headed north on the highway. They headed north on the highway. He's going to head home after work. He's going to head home after work. She's approaching the intersection. She's approaching the intersection. They approached the traffic light slowly. They approached the traffic light slowly. He's going to approach the parking lot. He's going to approach the parking lot. She's going to reach the destination. She's going to reach the destination. They reached the speed limit. They reached the speed limit. He's going to reach the gas station soon. He's going to reach the gas station soon. She's going to enter the highway. She's going to enter the highway. They entered the parking garage. They entered the parking garage. He's going to enter the tunnel. He's going to enter the tunnel. She's going to exit the highway at the next exit. She's going to exit the highway at the next exit. They exited the parking lot. They exited the parking lot. He's going to exit the tunnel soon. He's going to exit the tunnel soon. She's going to join the traffic on the highway. She's going to join the traffic on the highway. They joined the line of cars. They joined the line of cars. He's going to join the convoy. He's going to join the convoy. The lane divider separates traffic. The lane divider separates traffic. They separated the vehicles by type. They separated the vehicles by type. He's going to separate the cars and trucks. He's going to separate the cars and trucks. The median divides the highway. The median divides the highway. They divided the parking lot into sections. They divided the parking lot into sections. He's going to divide the space equally. He's going to divide the space equally. The bridge connects the two cities. The bridge connects the two cities. They connected the trailer to the truck. They connected the trailer to the truck. He's going to connect the battery cables. He's going to connect the battery cables. The highway links the major cities. The highway links the major cities. They linked the two routes. They linked the two routes. He's going to link the GPS to the car. He's going to link the GPS to the car. The two roads meet at the intersection. The two roads meet at the intersection. They met at the gas station. They met at the gas station. He's going to meet them at the parking lot. He's going to meet them at the parking lot. The streets intersect at the corner. The streets intersect at the corner. They intersected at the main junction. They intersected at the main junction. He's going to see where the roads intersect. He's going to see where the roads intersect. The engine is running smoothly. The engine is running smoothly. They ran out of gas. They ran out of gas. He's going to make sure the car runs well. He's going to make sure the car runs well. She's going to run out of gas soon. She's going to run out of gas soon. They ran out of oil. They ran out of oil. He's going to check before he runs out. He's going to check before he runs out. The battery will last for years. The battery will last for years. The tires lasted for 50,000 miles. The tires lasted for 50,000 miles. He's going to see how long it will last. He's going to see how long it will last. The brakes are wearing out. The brakes are wearing out. They wore out the tires quickly. They wore out the tires quickly. He's going to replace them before they wear out completely. He's going to replace them before they wear out completely. The mirror broke in the accident. The mirror broke in the accident. They broke the windshield. They broke the windshield. He's going to be careful not to break anything. He's going to be careful not to break anything. The accident damaged the car. The accident damaged the car. They damaged the bumper. They damaged the bumper. He's going to avoid damaging the vehicle. He's going to avoid damaging the vehicle. The fire destroyed the car completely. The fire destroyed the car completely. They destroyed the vehicle in the crash. They destroyed the vehicle in the crash. He's going to make sure nothing destroys it. He's going to make sure nothing destroys it. She's going to be careful not to crash. She's going to be careful not to crash. They crashed into the guardrail. They crashed into the guardrail. He's going to avoid crashing. He's going to avoid crashing. She hit a tree while parking. She hit a tree while parking. They hit another car. They hit another car. He's going to be careful not to hit anything. He's going to be careful not to hit anything. She bumped into the car in front. She bumped into the car in front. They bumped the curb while parking. They bumped the curb while parking. He's going to avoid bumping into things. He's going to avoid bumping into things. She scratched the car door. She scratched the car door. They scratched the paint. They scratched the paint. He's going to be careful not to scratch it. He's going to be careful not to scratch it. The hail dented the car. The hail dented the car. They dented the fender. They dented the fender. He's going to fix the dented panel. He's going to fix the dented panel. The windshield cracked in the cold. The windshield cracked in the cold. They cracked the mirror. They cracked the mirror. He's going to replace the cracked windshield. He's going to replace the cracked windshield. The radiator is leaking. The radiator is leaking. They found the oil was leaking. They found the oil was leaking. He's going to fix the leaking hose. He's going to fix the leaking hose. The oil is dripping from the engine. The oil is dripping from the engine. They noticed water dripping. They noticed water dripping. He's going to stop the dripping. He's going to stop the dripping. The gas tank overflowed. The gas tank overflowed. They overflowed the radiator. They overflowed the radiator. He's going to be careful not to overflow. He's going to be careful not to overflow. She spilled gas while filling up. She spilled gas while filling up. They spilled oil on the engine. They spilled oil on the engine. He's going to be careful not to spill anything. He's going to be careful not to spill anything. She's going to pour oil into the engine. She's going to pour oil into the engine. They poured coolant into the radiator. They poured coolant into the radiator. He's going to pour gas into the tank. He's going to pour gas into the tank. She's going to fill the gas tank. She's going to fill the gas tank. They filled the car with gas. They filled the car with gas. He's going to fill the tires with air. He's going to fill the tires with air. She's going to empty the gas tank. She's going to empty the gas tank. They emptied the trunk. They emptied the trunk. He's going to empty the car before selling it. He's going to empty the car before selling it. She's going to drain the oil. She's going to drain the oil. They drained the radiator. They drained the radiator. He's going to drain the old fluid. He's going to drain the old fluid. She's going to add oil to the engine. She's going to add oil to the engine. They added coolant to the system. They added coolant to the system. He's going to add more gas. He's going to add more gas. She's going to remove the old battery. She's going to remove the old battery. They removed the damaged tire. They removed the damaged tire. He's going to remove the broken part. He's going to remove the broken part. She's going to install a new radio. She's going to install a new radio. They installed new tires. They installed new tires. He's going to install the GPS system. He's going to install the GPS system. She's going to attach the trailer. She's going to attach the trailer. They attached the bike rack to the car. They attached the bike rack to the car. He's going to attach the license plate. He's going to attach the license plate. She's going to detach the trailer. She's going to detach the trailer. They detached the bike rack. They detached the bike rack. He's going to detach the battery cables. He's going to detach the battery cables.